Dashcam, helmet cam recording, happy days, here we go. Good morning folks, how are we all doing? Yep, we are out on the Jaffa. My first proper run on the KTM. My brand new KTM 790 Adventure. If you watched my previous video, you know I've recently bought this. First ever brand new bike, so I'm quite excited. It would be good for the channel if I document everything that happens with the bike. Any issues I have, servicing, etc., what it's like to own. But today's video, as I said in the previous one, will be why. Why did I trade in my BMW and why did I buy the KTM 750 Adventure? Especially instead of the 850, which is more powerful. All will be explained. Right, basically, past few months I've been toying with the idea of trading in the BMW with something different. And I've always had a real liking, a bit of a passion for the Dakar style bikes, or adventure bikes if you like. More middleweights than the big ones. I have no interest in the GS or the Super Adventure 1290. Way too big, in my opinion. Well, too big for me anyway. Excuse me. I did ride Papa Smurf's 1008 T7. I'll try and put something above, you know, like links, you can have a look at that video. Cracking bike. Unfortunately, even though he had it lowered with a lowered seat, it was still way too tall for me. And I didn't feel comfortable on it. I think the height really made me nervous. Now this one's quite tall, and I'm on tiptoe at the moment, but as I know from experience, over a period of time the suspension will soften. It's on what? 87 miles so far. That's how new this bike is. So once the suspension settles, it will lower down a tiny bit. It just feels more comfortable than the T7, to be honest. Yeah, I really did fancy a T7. As I say, unfortunately, they're way too tall for me. I searched around for a while, because it took me a while to realise what I wanted. And how I took that decision was riding my Himalayan, my Royal Enfield Himalayan, the Brian. I really liked the riding position. I like the way it handled. It's very, very chuckable, even though it's a 21-inch front tyre, same as this one. They handle really well. Surprisingly well, actually. And I really liked the way it rode. It just lacks power, especially on the open road. Morning! Yeah, especially on the open road, it just lacks power. I thought, what I need is a bigger version of the Himalayan. And I started looking. I looked everywhere. I didn't fancy an Aprilia because, to be honest, information from various sources, I'm going to say, said their reliability is very suspect at the moment. So I didn't fancy the Touareg. That's a very tall bike anyway. Like I say, I fancied the T7, but just wasn't happening, it was too tall. And I happened to pop into CMC a few months ago, and they had an 890 Adventure over there, second hand. I thought, oh, that looks interesting. I sat on it. I thought, do you know what, I really like this riding position. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll go for an 890 KTM Adventure. Done my research on the bike, as I always do. I'm a bugger for research. Looked up everything I needed to know. I looked at the insurance. And for me, it may be different for you, the insurance is horrendous on a KTM. Not far off double what I was paying on my BMW, which just shocks me. And initially I thought, no, I'm not paying that. That's ridiculous. I have no intention of paying stupid money to insure a smaller bike. And over a period of time I ummed and ahed and thought about it. I thought, actually, I don't mind paying that if I'm going to get the bike I'm happy with. Well, at the time, M&P's had a deal on the 2022 890 Adventure, on the cheap as it were, because in 23, this model, they changed the style. The fully enclosed fairing on the front instead of the headlight out on stuck out on a stalk sort of thing. But anyway, the 2022 model's on offer. I thought, ooh, that might interest me. So I popped down to M&P's the other week and I spoke to Tiff, the salesman, explained the situation. He said, sorry mate, they've all gone. Why don't you go for the 790? Just as good a bike. Okay. There's a few things you don't get on the 790 that you do get on the 890, and there's a £2 difference which I'll go into later. And to be honest, the add-on bits that they were offering, I don't see any need to spend £2 for me personally. They're of no use to me whatsoever, that kind of money. And that's basic, that's not including all your add-on extras like quick shifter, blipper, cruise control, etc. So okay, maybe a 790, although it's not actually on my radar, might be the thing to buy. Had a sit on one, went home, done my research, compared the 890 and the 790, decided that the differences, for the sake of £2 cheaper, I'd rather buy the 790. So I went back again and I spoke to Tiff and I told him what I want to do. I want to trade in the BMW, and we discussed my budget, how much I can afford each month. I said that if I buy the 790 I want the quick shifter and cruise control, because when you buy a new KTM now, I think it's all the range, I'm not sure if it's on just certain bikes, I believe it's all the range, you get the full tech pack with it, and that's only on there until I believe the first service, which is 620 miles or 1,000 kilometers or whatever, and then it all gets switched off. In one way it's a sales gimmick, in another way it's a bit naughty of KTM, because they give you the toys to play with, but then they take them away in the hope that you'll buy them. And the costs involved, and I'm as tight as a duck's what's it, let's be fair, the costs involved, I didn't see the point to spend that on the tech pack. I only wanted the quick shifter, blipper and the cruise control. Having had them on the BM, absolutely loved them. I could live without the quick shifter, but not the cruise control. The cruise control's too good for me, too useful, especially where I live, where we've got an awful lot of 50-mile-an-hour average speed cameras on in. So why did I not go for the more powerful, more popular 890? Quite simple really. To buy a brand, I could have bought a second-hand 890 for not much less than I paid for this one brand new, and I've never owned a brand new bike, so I thought, no, sorry, I'm having a new bike. But anyway, I could have bought the 890. As I say, it's £2,000 more expensive, and what you get on the base model compared to the 790 is you get the adjustable front and rear suspension, you get, as I remember this correct now, compression and rebound adjustment, of which I know absolutely nothing about. So I'd have to see someone who knows what they're talking about to set it up for me, and I'd probably never adjust it again. I know for some they know what they're talking about, well fine, yeah, you may think different, you may know what you're talking, I don't. I generally set my suspension to one setting and every time I adjust it until I carry a pillion. That's it. So from that point of view, the suspension adjustment was pointless. Didn't want it, didn't need it. You get 10 brake horsepower more than the 790, and you get something like about 12 more torques, Newton meter torque. What I'll do, I'll put a list up now of the comparisons of both bikes. As I say, there's not a lot of difference between the two. They're the same weight, same size, apart from seat height. They're basically the same bike. You just get a bit more adjustable suspension and a bit more power on the 890. And for me personally, I couldn't warrant £2,000 more money just for that. So I chose the 790. Yeah, I'm open-minded about the KTM as to its reliability and build quality, etc., as it's now built in China. We'll find out together, because that's what I plan to do. Like I said, I'm going to make umpteen videos about this bike as we go along, and I will bring you the warts and all of what this bike is actually like. So, if it's a pile of junk, I will tell you. If it's good, I'll tell you. If there's an issue, I'll let you know, and I'll let you know how it was resolved, etc, all the usual, so you have a full in-depth review of ownership of this particular bike. Anyway folks, that's it for today. I've babbled on for ages and ages, so unfortunately it'll be a bit of a long video, this one. So that's the reasons why I traded in my BM, bought the KTM 790 instead of the 890. And the next video coming up, which I'll probably film after this one, seeing them out for the day, will be a bit about the bike itself. What's it like to ride? How do I find it? You know, a kind of first ride review if you want. We'll get to that a bit later. It's now coming up for 8:30 in the morning, which tells me it's, let me check my watch, yes, it's about Greg's time. Yeah. What a surprise. As anybody who watches my channel knows, I should be sponsored by Greg's, but I'm not. Right, I'm off ski. Catch you all in the next video. And as always folks, please be safe, ride safe and have fun.